Well, hello, everybody. This is Jason, and it's time for Speed Talk along with.
Dean, hey, we're back. We're talking racing again. All kinds of cool stuff happening since we last visited with you all. And it's just getting better and more exciting every week.
We had the big ARCA race at Elko Speedway, and that was a blast. I think we saw a new superstar in the making, Dino.
Oh, definitely. So, and I really didn't know much about Max Reeves until he showed up in the 18 car. And I thought, well, if he's in the 18 car, he's probably going to be pretty good. And, well, he was. That's definitely for sure.
Joe Gibbs picks pretty good guys the way it looks. William Sawalich is doing really well in Xfinity, and of course, Sammy Smith is in Xfinity as well. Before that, it was Ty Gibbs. And so, if you're in that car, you're working your way up the ladder. This kid who won Elko, 15 years old, and he's really got the talent, doesn't he?
He does, he does. And he has a mentor that we didn't even realize that was there. I know I had heard he was mentoring him, but I didn't think he would come to Elko and cheer him on. But yes, he was. And that was NASCAR driver, former NASCAR driver, I should say, Bobby Labonte.
Hall of
Pretty cool.
Famer, Hall
Hall
of
of
Famer
Famer.
too. Yeah, and he really enjoys Minnesota. He was trying to keep it, on the low down there, and kind of work one on one with Max. And he was very impressed with Max. But it was kind of funny because he was a little disappointed that there wasn't enough controversy, or there wasn't enough, things for him to struggle with. Or he said he hasn't had so much as a flat tire yet. So everything's gone so well for this kid. He's 3 for 3 on ARCA East races, and then now he's 1 for 2 in ARCA national races, and the only race that he didn't win, he finished second place. And so everything's going fantastic for him so far. Super, super good talent. I also thought it was really fun to see how the crowd reacted to our guy Butterbean, Queen.
Yeah.
They really erupted when I interviewed him.
Yeah, he's a real popular driver. I mean, obviously, he hasn't raced a lot in this part of the country, but throughout the country, he's raced a lot, and he's a short track guy. And so that's a very important thing for us race fans and such, is that he's a short track guy. Cut his teeth on racetracks just like Elko and stuff like that. So wasn't surprised he was going to be fast because he's used to running the short tracks. The super speedway stuff's kind of new to him, though he does pretty good at that too. But the short track stuff is his main thing. And yeah, he fit and figured out Elko pretty darn quick, didn't he?
Cut his teeth at the Cars Tour course, and I think really he's a star in the making as well. And he's in his late 20s, so it's not like he's a young kid. And so we'll see where he goes. Hopefully, he can get some money behind him. And then we had Lawless Allen, who's kind of the veteran of the bunch. I think he has nearly 100 Truck Series starts. He ended up finishing third, but just barely ended up passing our local guy, Ty Fredrickson, who really did himself well in his first ever ARCA race. I think that was, he did a fantastic job, very consistent, didn't make any mistakes, fought hard. And we found out later at the end of the race, his cool suit didn't work in 96-degree weather. Think of how hot it is in that car. And he battled. I guess that's when you're 16 years old, you can do those things, I guess.
I guess, he had never been in an ARCA car. Actually, he had been at Daytona and turned some, courtesy kind of laps over there, but never really practiced in this car at all. Basically went to Charlotte during the week before the race, got fitted for his seat. And that was about the most time he spent in the car prior to coming to hitting the track at Elko for practice. And then he did a very good job in practice, did a very good job in qualifying, qualified up near the front. And then really impressive in the race. Just drove really smart. Didn't make any dumb moves or anything like that. Just drove. I don't know who was doing the spotting for him, but really whoever it was, and it may have been his dad, Dan. I'm not sure. Really did a good job keeping him, cool and calm, and not trying to overdrive the car or anything like that. Because these cars are a handful. They're a lot heavier than a local super late model or late model that you normally see on the short tracks around here. They're built for super speedways, so when you put them on the short tracks, they handle quite a bit different than your normal late model stock car.
Yeah, he really did well, and hopefully he gets these other opportunities. That's what you have to do, is you have to impress the right people, and of course he's been fantastic so far. Isabella Robusto, again, another top five. At Elko, she got a top five last year as well, and so she's a rising star as well. I was impressed by her. Also, it was really cool for me personally 10 feet away from, Benny Parsons' brother of calling the race. And so Phil Parsons was there actually in person. The TV crew, I thought, did a really good job watching it back on Fox Sports. They did a lot of crowd shots and some really cool angles. And they showed Elko Speedway in a different light. When Mav TV was there, it was a pretty basic broadcast of just the race. I
Mhm.
thought Fox did a fantastic job with the broadcast.
Yeah, they did a great job too, and we got a chance to catch up with Phil Parsons just for a minute after the races, and he was very impressed with Elko. He had never been there, I believe, before, but he was very impressed at everything, and it was nice to see somebody like that say kind words about our home racetrack. That's for sure.
I do have a visitor up here. Carlos is going to be joining us on the Zoom occasionally here too.
That's
Um,
okay.
Also,
Hi.
another thing is we had we had 13 rookies in a 24 car field.
Yeah.
And ARCA gets a lot of publicity for, oh God, just a wreck fest, especially at these super speedways. Oh, look at these amateurs, whatever. They did a fantastic job. 13 rookies, over half the field were rookies, and it was a very clean race.
Yeah, we didn't really see a lot. I mean, traditionally, this race has a lot of contact and a lot of crazy stuff. And actually, it was one of the more tamer ones that we've seen. It was some good hard racing, though. I'll
Hmm.
tell you, it was definitely wheel to wheel racing, not just for the up front, but it was back in the pack. And the fourth, fifth spot, it was wheel to wheel, and slicing and dicing the entire race back there. So it was great racing. And yeah, these rookies, as we call them, didn't drive like any rookies. That's for sure. They drove like experienced drivers, and there's a lot of future and a lot of promise amongst these drivers too, and from all over the country. We were talking about how many different states they were from, and that was just incredible to see drivers coming from every which direction under the sun practically.
24 entered cars from 19 different states, but there was one state missing, Dino.
Yes, it was Wisconsin of all places. That's where we normally think the short track people are coming from. In the years past, that's where they used to all come from. Yet we had Minnesota, Iowa, and North Dakota. I don't think we had anybody from South Dakota this time, but we had neighboring states, with the exception of Wisconsin, represented in this race, and it was pretty fun to see. I mean, we have definitely people from both coasts too, and literally end to end, people from all over the place coming in for this race. So it was pretty fun, but it was fun to see some local representation too, and they brought some fans too. So that's the nice thing about that, is the Iowa fans came up, and some of the Dakota fans came, and obviously had a large Minnesota contingency is there as well too. So it was kind of nice to have some people cheering for him, because a lot of these guys and gals come to these races, they don't have people cheering for them because they're racing somewhere across the country, and their local fans can't travel. But I think there was a lot of travelers for this race too.
Yeah, I thought the crowd was very good considering I thought it was a better crowd than last year. And considering it was 96 degrees and humid throughout the afternoon, but the advanced ticket sales were very good. And that's what we need if we want this race to continue. We've been doing this race. I think this is the 11th time we've done this race. But if it loses money, it's not going to keep happening. And so I could say that the sponsors were very happy with it and the ticket sales were very good. And so I think the future of this race is positive.
I think the Menards stores, I heard some of the Menards locations actually ran out of their tickets to pre-sale.
Hmm.
So that was a great problem to have, that they sold out on all their tickets. Unfortunately, some fans probably went there thinking, "Oh, I could just get tickets at Menards," and they couldn't because they were sold out. That was great, and it was great to see the 200 plus people from Dutch Boy paints there too. I think they had a good time too, and I saw a lot of Dutch Boy shirts and stuff like that. So those people also had the hospitality activities before the races too, and I think they really enjoyed the race and really enjoyed their time at Elko.
And just in case you're wondering how important a race like this is to these drivers, someone like Alex Clubb, okay, he ended up getting a top 10 and he was mad afterwards because of the way that he was driven by some of the other drivers. And, some of the fans might go, oh, whatever, who cares? Who is this guy? They care about this, okay? This is a huge race to the Willie Mullins team. Just because you're
Mm-hmm.
not finishing, in the front of the field doesn't mean this is important. This isn't important. This is the type of race where they know they truly can get a good finish. And for a lot of them, this is where they grew up in this size track. This
Mm-hmm.
means more than, maybe Michigan or something like that, or something like a Kansas City or something like that. This is a hometown type of track where they want to be successful.
Yeah, and it's great to see. I mean, and there's different kind of levels what you see in the ARCA series. You see the big buck teams with the big fancy sponsors and all that stuff like that too. And then you have the smaller teams, the ones that come with a trailer that's no bigger than the ones that you see on a weekly basis there. And those guys and gals come with a very limited crew. They have a very limited budget, don't have the big sponsors and such, but for them to get out there and be competitive, like we mentioned with Alex Clubb and Brad Smith's another guy making 450th start. Those are the people that really help make ARCA what it is too. They're the ones that are out there all the time. They're driving to all the races. They're not flying in. They're driving the hauler to the races, and they're out there competing and doing a very good job of that too. So it's a fun series to follow, and definitely I like to follow it. I not just watch the Daytona and Elko races, but they race all kinds of different stuff. In fact, coming up, they got a couple of dirt track races too,
Yeah.
which are always kind of interesting because you're taking the same cars that you're racing at Daytona, at Elko, and now you're running them on a 1 mile dirt track. Different kind of racing for sure, but it is kind of a fun. And I'll tell you, if you want to be experienced and learn how to drive a race car, this is a series. They also ran a road courses recently too. So I mean, you get to drive on every different kind of track there is. See what kind of driver you really are. I mean, you're not just a short track guy or a super speedway guy. You got to be able to be semi-competitive on everything. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's an exciting series to follow, and it's great to be a part of. And I just love being in the booth calling it too, because it's exciting. It's one of the most exciting races that I get to be a part of every year, and I know you do have a great time with it too. It's so cool because we're on the national spotlight, and it is a big deal.
We put the PA, so the race broadcast that the fans heard in the stands that you and I did on our website. It's racefansradio.blogspot.com or Speed Talk on 1360 if you search that, racefansradio.blogspot.com. And we put that link on there. You can listen to that if you want. It's fun. So let's move on and talk about Elko Speedway. You and I have got a chance to announce the last few weeks, and the season is now one third through. So we have four of
Wow.
12 races are done. So I think we can start analyzing the field a little bit, Dino. Let's start off with the late models.
Well, hang on here.
Wait,
Before we do that, we should talk about at the ARCA race, the local cars ran, and there wasn't a single caution in any of those feature races. We got to tip the hat to those folks because they all did great that night. It was fun to see them. And the NASCAR people and the ARCA people and all the big shots that were there were all commenting like, wow, you guys got a great local program here. They don't have any cautions and they race hard.
yeah, 100 laps with no cautions. And really, we could have been in a really tough spot if there would have been a few cautions because we were cutting it tight as far as doing the driver autograph party before we had to wrap it up and do the driver introductions and get the TV. Because of TV, we can't delay things. It's going to go when it's going to go. And so that would have really shortened up the driver autograph party if our drivers would have delayed by having a bunch of cautions. And so really kudos to the Elko drivers by doing a fantastic job. And you're right, it did turn some heads. People do notice that, the national people. So late models, 21 cars have gotten points so far this year in the late models. That's pretty good. 8 full-time drivers or drivers that have not missed a race yet. Cruiser Chris Merrick is our point leader so far. He has 2 wins. 13 points behind him is the 52 of Chad Wallen. 6 top 5s out of the 7 races. So super consistent for Chad Wallen. Remember, he finished second in points last year, and he's been second in points numerous times. I know that he is very motivated to win a championship at Elko after being so close for so many years. Jacob Gady, won all of those championships, and Chad Wallen was right on his tail for so many of them. And then third in points is Grant Brown, which I think is a little bit of a surprise because we were all expecting him to be racing the Big 8 Series this year. And if you noticed, he was at Elko last weekend and not at the Big 8 Series event. And so it paid off because he ended up getting 2 wins so far this year, and he's only 18 points out of the lead. Those are the 3 right now that are battling for it. What do you think of those 3, Dino?
I think they all have a legitimate shot at it. I mean, that's for sure. It's any given night. You don't want to get in trouble. You don't want to blow an engine. You don't want to get smacked by somebody else or end up in the wall or anything like that because that one bad night is really going to hurt you. But if you could stay up near the front, consistent, win a couple, and even finish second. That's not a bad thing. And I think that's kind of the strategy to just kind of stay up near the front. Don't go overboard trying to do something that you can't or your car can't do to try and get a spot that may cost you dearly in the championship race. And all those drivers are very worthy of being a championship driver. I would have no surprises at seeing any one of those drivers winning the championship this year.
It's so challenging at Elko because qualifying is so important. At Elko, you get all these points, and that's really separates a lot of the drivers. Maybe they race well, but they don't qualify well. You have to do both. You have to
Mm-hmm.
race well and qualify well. The better you qualify, the worse that you start. And so it's challenging for sure. And so, Jacob Gady had it down pat. Well, he's not here. So now who's going to be the next one? Last year, Jake Ryan had an unbelievable season and he
Mm-hmm.
couldn't do anything wrong. This year, he is really struggling. He is seventh in points, and we've had 7 races and only 2 top 5s for him. He's back in seventh. Billy Moan was doing fantastic until this last week. Ended up, just like you said, getting caught up in a wreck. He dropped down to sixth place. He has 1 win. Owen Giles, 43 points behind. He has 1 win. But Mr. Consistent has been Jeremy Wolf. 5 top 5s in 7 races. He's still in the hunt at 36 points back. And so those are the guys that still are in contention. Remember, we're only 1/3 of the way through the season, or yeah, 1/3 of the way through the season.
Mm-hmm.
So certainly things can change, but those are the guys who are still in contention,
Hello.
in contention, but they have kind of a hill to climb.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be fun to watch and to see the different drivers win too. We're not seeing one person particularly dominate on any night, and you could win the first feature, but the second feature you might be just stuck in the pack. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the next couple months here as the season goes on.
So Thunder cars, 19 cars. So, I've been there for 14 years now. And, the car counts in the Thunder cars when I first got there was really good. And then it's waned in the last,
Hmm.
5, 6 years. And so it hasn't been as fun. It hasn't been as fun. And so now with 19 cars at the track, it is really entertaining with these Thunder cars. I love this division because the drivers are so good. They have so
Yes.
much experience, but we do have some variety of drivers here, and it's really tough to make your mark with the Thunder cars. 8 people have driven and raced in every race so far. The leader is, no surprise here, 5-time champion Brent Kane. 2 wins, but 7 top 5s in 7 races. So that's the thing with him. When on ARCA night, remember he was going for the lead and then his
Hmm.
car overheated. Still, he finished the race and finished in third. So
Yeah.
even when he does have a mistake or have a mechanical problem, it's not a DNF because it's those DNFs that kill you.
Oh, definitely. So, and man, what a division to watch this year. We talked about the number of different winners. It's like, wow, it is just not once again not one car dominating, and so many cars are very capable of winning. Even ones that is like, oh, I'm kind of surprised that they won, but you look at the races that the drivers are winning, and they're driving the wheels off the car, literally trying to win those races. And it's exciting stuff here, and it's fun to see lots of different faces in victory lane. That's for sure. I mean, I don't think we're going to see a double, back-to-back night here this year. That's for sure. We have so much great competition there amongst all those drivers there that they just, it helps with a good starting spot. And if you could get caught behind a couple of other fast cars and not go anywhere, we saw that with Brent Kane last week. He had a very fast car, but he just couldn't go anywhere because the other cars were very fast too.
Yeah, and
So,
they're side by side, and you
yeah,
can't go through them. You got to go around them.
yeah,
So Tom Sorum, finished second last year. Tommy, he won last week, and that was his first win. Remember, he didn't win at all last year, but he finished second
no,
in points. He's got 6 top 5s, 26 points out, so he's definitely in contention. And you said been a bunch of people who have won so far this year. Eric Montour, Jimmy O'Mara, Matt Weebush, Ben Gannon, all have won this year. They're all still in the hunt, but they're falling back because it seems like, they have a really good race, but then they have a poor race. And so you got to be consistently up at the front. Taylor Goldman has had a tough season so far. She had mechanical problems this last week, ended up driving Conrad Jorgensen's car. And then Julie Jorgensen, who, a rising star, of course, two-time Power Stock champion. You think of her as like, oh, she's really struggling this year in the Thunder car. She doesn't have a win. She's still third in points. Okay. So she's very consistently not having bad nights, but she's not getting those wins yet. So they haven't figured out that car quite yet. She was so good in that Power Stock, and it's
Hmm.
taken her a little bit of time to fully grasp this Thunder car. She's not making mistakes. That's the
No,
thing about her.
no, she's doing a
She's
great job.
slowly progressing, and so she definitely will be winning races by the end of the year.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and really, it's going to be, you know, coming down to the wins this year, and who can get the most wins, and it's not going to be a large number. It's going to be you're going to edge out somebody else by maybe one or two wins to winning the championship this year, possibly. That might come down to that because, like I said, it's so even and it's so dispersed amongst all those fast cars there. So it's like you're going to have to work for it every night, and if you get lucky, you're going to win the race too. There's luck involved too, not just skill and all the mechanical stuff too. You got to get some luck on the racetrack as well too, and I think that's going to come into play a little bit too this year.
Brent Kane, had 13 wins last year, and he's not going to
Hmm.
get 13 this year with
No.
this field for sure. Okay, how about the power stocks? I've really been looking forward to this all year long. Last year, we had that awesome battle all the way down to the last race. These cars duking it out. It's going to be the same thing this year, okay? Nick Oxborough, five-time champion, he has two wins already this year, but he also has a blown motor and a DNF. So he is actually 61 points out in sixth
Oh.
place with two wins. How
Oh,
about the teenager, Clayton Dorner? Okay,
yeah.
16 years old. I think of him as a Bando kid. He's not a Bando kid anymore.
No.
Okay. He's got five top fives already this year, looking good, fifth place. How about Donovan Mashad? Also, how great, Jason Mashad did in that car. Donovan's doing great and fantastic as well. He has four top fives already this year. And then we have
Cruiser.
the top three. Jesse Fisher, six top fives. Okay. Jimmy Jorgensen, three wins, 2 points out of the lead, seven top fives, also seven top fives from Mike Stair with one win. So they're just 2 points away from each other, the top two. And Jesse Fisher, don't count him out. Mark my words, Nick Oxborough, unless he takes a night off, he's
Hmm.
not out of it either.
Nope.
So it's going to be really fun to see this go down to the last race again.
When I mentioned about wins, but you know what? Some of these races, it's going to come down to if you can beat somebody for fourth place for the
Hmm.
points. It's going to come down to that close. I mean,
And
yeah,
not
you
get
might not win.
wrecked.
Yeah,
That's
if
the thing
if you're
because
not,
there's a lot of
yeah.
contact in the power stocks.
Oh, exactly. These are steel cars here. There's they're hard, tough cars. They
They
can.
got fenders for a reason.
Yes, and they're real hard fenders, but you know what? They get bent up too, so it'll be fun to watch. But like I said, racing for third and fourth spot, it's going to make a big difference too, because of those points are going to really add up at the end of the year. And if you lose a couple of those spots, that might bite you at the end because it's going to be that tight. So I mean, it's fun to watch and it's exciting to see it, and it's just really an exciting year this year. That's for sure.
So let's go to the bandos. There's been 17 drivers already this year in the bandos. 11 haven't missed a race yet. Christopher Flynn is the point leader by four over Mason Westfall. Now, Mason Westfall has two wins, but he got a DNF, some mechanical problem just this last week, and that really hurts him. Because remember, they're doing just one feature now and a heat
Mm-hmm.
race. And then Roman Crow, he got a win last week. What a
Come on.
crazy, wild feature that was. These guys, it seems like, you just wait for the last lap and you just wonder what's going to happen because
Yeah.
the lap traffic is really affecting these drivers and it's just chaos on the last lap. And so it's been very, very entertaining.
Yeah, four wide
Yeah.
racing,
Yeah.
and there's not a lot of room on that bando portion of the racetrack there, and they're running four wide, and they're not wrecking either. So it's a little scary and it's a little wild, but isn't that great to see that bando class really blow up as it has in the
Hmm.
last couple of years here? I mean, it started out, when bando started running, there was just literally a handful of cars, and there wasn't a whole lot. maybe just like I said, a handful of cars. Now you've got full fields of cars out
Hmm.
there. Some drivers that have been doing it for a while, some that are relatively new yet. So you're trying, trying to learn a little bit on how to handle a race car and stuff like that. So that's a learning curve with some of it. But it's exciting stuff. And yeah, these kids, they don't know when to quit. They just keep going. I mean, parts are falling off the car. They just keep going.
That's right. We even have to do a B feature. B stands for beginner
Yeah.
feature. And so, Anna Athman won this last week, and it's just a 6 lap feature. It only takes a few minutes, and it meant a lot to their family,
Hmm.
because they put a lot into this, and just to see the smile on their faces and to see the encouragement, is really fun. And so I'm glad that we're doing that for sure.
Yeah, that and the heat races too,
Yeah, heat
because
races, same
it's
thing.
nice to see the heat races because you don't necessarily always have the same person always winning the feature race that wins the heat race, and so
Mhm.
it gets the chance, especially with the younger drivers. It gives them a little more encouragement to keep racing because if you never win a feature race and all you do is run feature races, you get a little depressed and a little like, oh geez, I don't know if I'm good enough. But when you start running the heat races, you can race against a smaller group of cars
Shorter
and
amount of laps.
yes, and a better chance of winning a race. So it's great, and it's a great encouragement for the young drivers, and I think they're having a lot of fun with it.
How about the Legends? 24 cars so far this year, 10 full timers, heats, features, and qualifying. Remember, they do qualifying too. So, if you win a championship, you earned it because you're good
Hmm.
at all those things. And it's interesting because some of the top guys so far in the point standings, I don't know if they're running the full season. Okay. Robbie Carter. I know he's not running the full season because he's going for a championship. He won a championship at Elko, and I think he's running Marshfield part
Hmm.
time this year. Jason Mashad, he used to run Legends back in the day, ran Power Stocks for many years. Now he's back to the Legends. There's a little bit of a learning curve there. Tristan Swanson, he's not running every week, but yet he
No,
has 2 wins.
yeah.
Super late model driver. I heard through the grapevine that they've got a Midwest truck that they're going to be working on and maybe running some stuff in there. Um, Wyatt Morin, number 11,
Yeah.
secretly really good this year, super
Hmm.
consistent. He actually has a chance at the title because these other guys aren't going to be there every week. How about Dirk
Hmm.
Henry? He traditionally does not run every night. He always takes a couple weeks off every year. Right now, he's top 3 in points. It's hard for him to take a night off.
No.
How about Cam Paninsky?
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Nick Paninsky's kid, he's got a late model, a dirt late model sitting in the shop ready for him, but he's having so much fun running Legends at Elko and he's second in points. It's hard to turn that down, right?
Not to mention he's only what, 13
13 years
years
old.
old.
Yeah. And he looks like he's 10.
Yeah, but
Uh,
man, that kid can wheel, and he was out there wheeling it this last week, right in there with the
mhm.
experienced guys, and you
He
would have never known that he was a 13-year-old kid
He
racing
almost
it.
passed Ayrton on the last lap. It was
Yeah,
close. He's
yeah.
gotten top 5 every race so far, and he's only 20 points out of the lead. Ayrton Brockhouse is the leader in points. He's also his high school football quarterback. Okay. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he could have to miss a race night. Right now, he says he's not going to, but you never know how football is and how crazy it gets with football. He
Hmm.
might have to miss a night. Okay.
Yeah.
What would that do to points? Okay, so this is going to be really interesting.
There's a lot of question marks
Yeah.
out there, that's for sure.
Hmm. Yep. So
Which
I
is
think it's really
great. It's
interesting.
great
But
from an announcer and a race fan standpoint to see every division have a lot of close calls, and they're not close calls, but
comers and
close racing.
goers.
Yes.
Yep. So, it's been a fun season so far. But also I wanted to mention just the other acts for Eve of Destruction, I think have been interesting too, because one of the things is we have Bigfoot now as a monster truck. This is the most iconic monster truck there is. It's Gravedigger and Bigfoot.
Hmm.
Those are the two. And we have Bigfoot that comes to our track, which is
Yeah.
really cool. And I don't know if you got a chance to hear Josh Bumgartner talk about how he got into monster trucking. Okay,
Yeah.
his dad used to take him when he was a kid, right? And then he decided as an adult he wanted to drive monster trucks. So he went and he talked to Adam Anderson, of course, who drives Gravedigger now. And Adam told him forget it. You won't be able to. He's like, I want to be a monster truck, want a monster jam driver. And he's like, you just forget it. You won't be able to do it. What? He crushed him. He's like, I thought he would get encouragement, but no. He's like,
Mhm.
he's just being realistic with him. He's like,
Yeah.
you're too old. You got to start when you're young and you go to our academy and do all this stuff. And so Josh was like, I'm going to show him. I don't, and Adam's like, he actually helped him out. He's like, just be an independent guy and work your way up through local and just see what happens. That's what he's done. And now
Mhm.
he's not in Monster Jam, but he
Nope.
is the highest you can get not in Monster Jam, which
Yeah.
is Bigfoot, which I
Yeah.
think is really damn cool that we have him at Elko Speedway.
And how about that paint scheme on it too? They could do
Mhm.
the little extra little 50th anniversary of Bigfoot on there with some gold lettering and stuff. And man, it looked sharp before. It looks really sharp now. And it almost got wrecked
Yeah.
though in one of the runs on Saturday night where he got it literally up sideways. There's some photos out there circulating on the internet of Bigfoot on sideways, and I thought you were going to have a heart attack. I was thinking he was going to roll over when he got it up that way.
I was feeling for him, and he made a great save because you remember that was the debut of that body and the paint scheme, and those aren't cheap. Let me just tell
No,
you that much.
no.
If he would have wrecked it on the debut, he would have been really hurting. And so I'm so glad that he was able to save it. And that just shows that they're not just going through the motions when these monster trucks come to Elko. They're going for it to entertain the crowd, and we love that. So I think that's been great.
Yeah, getting some
Also,
serious air too.
yeah, they do. Yeah. And of course, they crushed my daughter's car, which I think is really cool. We got pictures of that all over the place. I thought maybe that Buick LeSabre would hold up to a monster truck. No, no. And we talked to Josh
However,
afterwards.
however, there was one thing that didn't hold up on that car, and we found
Yeah.
that afterwards.
Yeah. The Speed Talk sticker is still there.
Yes, with the
Um,
Speed Talk logo
that's right.
on
On the
on
back
on the
bumper.
car. It still survived. The car
So
didn't,
it
but the
was
sticker
interesting because
still.
I talked to Josh after the races, and he said that the tires can really vary on monster trucks. I didn't realize there was a huge variety of tires. The tires that he has for Bigfoot,
Hmm.
1,200 pounds each.
Oh,
1,200 pounds each
mm,
tire. Isn't
wow!
that crazy?
You're
And
not
so
doing
he
a
has to
four
do
tire
different
stop in it.
types. Yeah, so he has different types of jumps and things that the truck will do well because of that really heavy front of the
Hmm.
tires and the way that it's set up. Also, I thought that the drifters have been extra motivated after doing their drift bash. We had a ton of drifters in attendance. The drift bash went really well. And I think, when they came out to perform for the Eva Destruction crowd, it was better than ever because I think they're all motivated to get better so they can compete at the next drift bash, which will be in August. And they're taking it really serious. I heard that a lot of the top drifters used 10 sets of tires. 10 sets. You know, I want to be a tire manufacturer there.
Oh my
Just think of
gosh.
the money
Well,
changing
yeah,
hands there.
it doesn't take long to burn off a set the way they go. And it was so fun to see that large number there because they used to just do tandems, two at a time. They're doing three and four at a time now. And
Hmm.
it's like that really looks cool when you got four cars out there in a little parade there going around and doing the drift. It's awesome. And I don't know if they made contact, but they sure got awful close a few
Hmm.
times too. So
Hmm.
they weren't like hanging back and just kind of playing it cool. They were pushed pretty hard. So makes it a great show. And yeah, it's great to see that the drifters kind of found a home at Elko and some more drifting events coming too. And obviously during the Ease of Destruction too to see them. But yeah, it's great to have them find a home here at Elko.
I thought the twin stunts was really good on the back concourse instead of out in front of the you know audience. When
Mhm.
you're a football field away from someone doing a wheelie, it's cool. But when you're 10 feet away from them doing a
Yeah.
wheelie, it's even cooler. So, I think that was a good change. And then also having the drone there last weekend.
Yes.
Hopefully we can do that some more because some really unique shots. And definitely look at that at the Elko Speedway page because if you've never seen that before, some really, really cool shots.
Yeah, all kinds of different angles from everything from not only the racing, but from the monster trucks and the drifters and stuff too. I mean, the monster trucks, it was like you're going right over the car with the
Hmm.
monster truck. It,
Yeah.
it was a cool feeling to watch those ones. I hope we see more of those in the future too. Pretty
Yep.
cool stuff.
Also, I think I know that you're really into this. Is the now that we have my race pass at Elko
Yes.
Speedway, that you've been doing the fantasy picks, and so I would
Hmm.
encourage more people to do that. It's just something fun to do, and if you have some like inside knowledge at Elko Speedway, you can do well in the fantasy picks, and so
Well,
you
hang on
compete
here.
against other people who are there.
Time out. I asked you to help me one night, and I didn't win that night. So you're
I
not
don't
that
have
much
inside
help here.
knowledge.
Yeah, so obviously you don't have the inside knowledge because I said, well, what do you think of these picks? Well, maybe we should try that one instead. So I
Yeah,
changed it, and then I didn't win.
that's what you
But
get.
by the way, I won this week, and you didn't help me, so
Yeah, so
that's good.
you've
So,
learned,
but
you've
but
learned.
but but
But it's
take the
fun to
challenge.
compete
Yeah.
against the other fans who are there in attendance and even maybe even watching at home or paying, following along at home.
Well, you pick them by divisions too. So I won a couple of divisions, but there's another couple of divisions this week I didn't do very good at either. So, just because you may know one division, you might do better. You might not do better in other ones. So it's kind of fun. So, but it's fun to do, and it's fun, and you get attendance points if you're there. You get extra bonus points. It picks up on your location on your phone. And so you actually get bonus points if you're in attendance. You can do it when you're not there. We'd rather have you do it when you're there, but you can do it if you're at home, if you get stuck at home or something like that. You still can play and accumulate points. And you can do that with not just Elko, but you can do it at just about any track in the country,
Hmm.
especially tracks around the area, East Coast, West Coast. I know the World Outlaws. I tried doing that. Man, I do terrible on the World Outlaw
Well,
ones.
there's hundreds and hundreds of people playing.
And there's like 500 people playing a night, and it's like, oh, you got 233rd. I'm like, oh boy, it's like, oh, I guess I'm better than the other half of the people, but it's like there's a lot of people to do it, so it's very popular. I think it's going to grow. It's just something you just got to get used to. People 99% of the time got their phone in their hand, taking pictures or doing something anyway. So let's make some race picks and play along too. And the other cool thing about that app too is all the has live timing and scoring on there, race results as they come up too. So you get all that stuff right in the palm of your hand too. So
Yep,
just
my
just in
race
case you
pass.
can't hear Jason, you can know what's going on, from the standing waves.
My Race Pass. Make sure you download that. Hey, speaking of things upcoming schedule, we've got, of course, the 4th of July weekend this weekend. We've got the BMX guys on the back concourse, and we've got the ATV and motorcycle flippers on the front course. And, of course, the big fireworks show. Everyone looks forward to that every single year. They always put on a really good show at Elko Speedway. So that's what's on tap for this weekend. But then looking ahead, the Dwayne Barron's Memorial Race is going to be in July this year, so it's actually
Oh.
July 19th. So the weekend before that, we're not racing at Elko Speedway, but I'm going to be down at Iowa Speedway. And so really looking forward to the doubleheader IndyCar race. Last year, it was incredibly boring. There was no passing at all. And they have done tire tests. They've done a lot of testing and they've changed some of the downforce, trying to make more side by side racing. They've extended the length of the races to 275 miles. And so I don't know, there's no concerts this year. It's going to be all racing. And so I'm actually really looking forward to that. It's a blast. You and I both have just love Iowa Speedway, and I don't want this IndyCar race to go away. And if it's a
Hmm.
terrible show like it was last year, it might go away. So I really hope that it's a good show this year.
Yeah, it's always a fun place to go. And it's the closest big time
Yeah.
racetrack that you're going to get to Minnesota. So I mean, we always said that that's why we wanted to go there, is because it's not an 8 hour drive to get down there. You can get back in the same day if you
The
want to. You
guy
don't
the
have to
guy
stay
right
overnight.
behind you built the track. You see that?
Yeah,
That's Rusty behind you, right?
yeah, he's right over here. Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
So
hiding. You
it's
saw
on
that in my hidden background.
Rusty Wallace Boulevard.
They have a big rock with his picture of his car on it too, and his name
Yep.
on it.
So then it'll be July 19th is the Dwayne Barron's Memorial Race. And of course, Monster Trucks 2 and Drifters and all that stuff. The wrestlers are there, MAW Wrestling. So it'll be a big night. August 2nd, Monster Truck Mayhem. So we're going to
Uh-oh.
have extra monster trucks there that night. So
Ah,
if you're
I'll
looking,
be back in the booth with you that night
oh,
too.
really? Okay, good.
Yes.
And then August 16th is that school bus night where the kids get to ride in the school buses around the track, which is very, very popular. and I know people look forward to that. So
They don't
that'll be
race when you're riding around. They're
no,
just
no, no. They don't.
if you've
They're
seen the
not.
school bus races,
Not
don't
the
be
figure
worried
eight.
that you're not doing a figure eight. You're not going to get flipped over. You're just going to go around the track. It's cool though. It
It
is
is
cool.
cool because they go pretty fast, and you can
Yeah.
feel the banking. The 15 degrees of banking really feels a lot when you're going around the corners like that, and the kids love it. So that's
That's the
August
cool thing.
16th. So put that on your calendar. So that's
A
what we
lot of
have
things
coming
coming
up.
up here, and
Yeah.
that's most of the summer. But there's still more, and we've got a lot of stuff coming up later on in the year, including Thunderstruck in September and stuff like that. And obviously, the last event of all the racing is always the trailer race, and I'm sure we're going to have that again this year. And that's something you don't want to miss too. But that's way down the road. We'll talk about that one 2, 3 shows from now.
hmm So, all in all, things are going good so far this year. Of course, there was the ownership change, and things are going well. The car counts are getting bigger and better. Lots of positivity at the track, so things are looking up. It's been nice to have you announce with me the last few weeks there, Dino. And I realize that you've got a life. You don't have to be there every week, but that's okay. You can just keep us informed and keep on taking those victory lane photos. We appreciate
Yep.
that on social media.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to do that too. When I'm not working
hmm
at the track, I'm horsing around and taking pictures and checking out all the fun stuff around there too, and get a chance to experience all the stuff on the concourse. Because, granted, when we're announcing, we don't get a chance to experience all that stuff, and there's a lot of cool stuff on the concourse that's going on around intermission time and before the races too. It's a lot of fun stuff you don't see at other tracks. And that's the great thing about going to Elko. There's just something for everybody. For kids, I know kids love going there. The adults love going there. It's a fun time all the way around, and it is great entertainment. That's for sure.
And Rack Shack Barbecue, I think it's been
Oh
a
yeah.
great addition, to have an actual restaurant at the racetrack. And now it's not just open on Saturday nights, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday. It's open at 11 a.m. each day. And so you can go there during the day, and the best racetrack food you're going to have anywhere in the nation, guaranteed.
Full menu on those off racing days. Limited menu during the race nights and stuff, but still great stuff though. I've had quite a few things already off the menu on race night. I really want to come there on a non-race night and try some of the other things because it's like I've seen pictures of it and hear a lot of great things about it too. So definitely something worth checking out there. Rack Shack Barbecue, the official barbecue of Elko Speedway.
One last thing, Little Elko, which is the quarter midget track, is going to do a big invitational All-American race. So that'll be like on the July 11th, 12th. It's a Saturday, Sunday. So right in there, we're not racing at Elko Speedway that weekend. But the announcer who was the announcer at Elko Speedway before me,
Mm-hmm.
14 years ago, and then of course longer ago than that for quite some time, was Jim Burns, and he will be making a special appearance and doing announcing at Little Elko quarter midget track, which I think is so cool. It's kind of like, you and I both grew up at the track, and when you hear the
Mm-hmm.
announcer that you heard when you were young,
Yep.
it's just so cool. For us, it's like Ron Krogh is
Yep.
is is who we remember. And so every time we hear him, we're like, "Oh, yes, this is so
Mm-hmm.
cool." And
Yep.
he'll be able to announce like the kids or grandkids
Yeah.
of the people that he was announcing before. And so
Yeah.
I love it when things like that happen. And so really looking forward to something like that.
He's going to get a workout too. That event is not just a regular weekly event and 2 day show. It's a national event. I think it's even going to be broadcast live on Flow Racing, I
hmm
believe, too.
Yep.
So I mean,
Yep.
if you can't make it there, please do if you can check it out because this is pretty cool stuff. We've got a lot of not just the local talent, but we're going to have people coming from all over the country in to check out Little Elko, and that's a pretty good thing. I mean, I always remember Little Elko there, but in the last couple of years it's really taken off in popularity. There's more cars, there's more kids, there's more people getting involved in it. And it's great to see because that's the future of our racing right there is Little Elko. They'll move up to the Bandos or the Legends cars or the late models in due time. And we've seen drivers like that. We mentioned William Sawalich. He drove at Little Elko and now
Yep.
he's driving in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. So, you never know where these young kids are going to start out too. So always check it out on Sundays normally, but that particular weekend it'll be a whole weekend deal. That'll
Yep.
be a fun thing to see.
And hopefully they're all having fun. That's the main thing.
Yes,
So,
I think they do.
and hopefully you'll have fun at Elko Speedway as well. Okay, thanks, Dean. It's great to have you here at the track, and we're going to keep on adding stuff. Check out our website. By the way, I didn't even tell you this, Dean. We went over a 500,000 unique views on the website.
Whoa.
Isn't that cool?
Wow. That's great.
Yeah,
That's
so
great.
we have about 15 years of stuff on there. And we did a radio show for a long time as well, which is really cool because Jordan Bianchi, who was on with us each week for the entire time we did the radio show, he now is on SiriusXM NASCAR radio. He's on the Athletic covering NASCAR, and he's extremely popular and famous now,
And he
which
does
is
some
really
TV
cool.
stuff once in a while too. I've seen him.
Yeah,
He does some
yeah,
TV things down in the Charlotte area too. So it's like, wow, he's big time. It's like, geez,
yeah.
we remember when he was just the racing geek.
Yeah, and he's always been so great to us.
He has been
I've
great
every
friend.
time we've asked him to do anything, he's always done it. I remember, we'll say, "Hey, Jordan, can you do this?" He'd say, "No problem." And then he calls us and he's like in a meeting with some big, someone important, or he's
Yeah,
in the pits at
yeah,
Charlotte or
yeah,
somewhere else or Atlanta or who knows where. And I'm like, "Jordan, you could have said no."
yeah, yeah. And then we hear the race cars and going
Yeah.
around in the background. I mean, what better interview is when you got race car sound, real
Yeah.
race car sounds in the background? That's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great friend of ours, and one of these days we will con him to get in on our little uh, show here.
Yeah, I think we might have to go down and visit him next spring.
We
So,
may have to do that.
yeah, that's in the works. So, hopefully we'll
Yes.
do that. All right, thanks, Dean. I'm Jason,
I'm Dean,
and we'll
and
see
we'll see
you
you at the
at the
track.
track.